In Inside Out, the vegetable Riley refuses is broccoli. In the Japanese release, it's a green pepper. Pixar rebuilt the scene. Director Pete Docter explained why. In Japan, kids don't consider broccoli gross. So they asked what was, and were told green bell peppers. They remodeled and reanimated 3 separate scenes. Roughly 1% of Japanese children say they like green peppers. For broccoli, it's 18. That's one small survey, but other rankings reaffirm it. There was a second problem. Broccoli isn't a punishment vegetable in Japan. Kids eat it in bento boxes with mayonnaise. In fact, in 2026, the government added broccoli to its list of designated vegetables, essential to the national diet, the first new entry in 52 years. So it wasn't that the vegetable was wrong. Nobody had the negative memory. Which raises a question the film doesn't answer. How does an entire country agree on a villain? Crayon Shin-chan started airing in 1992. Episode 8 includes a segment titled Piiman wa Karai Dazo, I hate green peppers. The plot is that Shin-chan won't eat one at dinner. His mother pushes. He refuses and slips it to the dog under the table. His parents are furious, and the joke needs no explanation to anyone watching. Episode 8 of a series still running 34 years later. The joke was fully formed before the show had finished introducing its own cast. So this was already settled by 1992. But green peppers aren't native to Japan, and for most of Japanese history, nobody there had eaten one. They arrived from the United States in the early Meiji era, and nobody wanted them. The smell put people off. They didn't spread. What changed was the war. Afterwards, price controls left Japan short of almost everything. But Piiman was so obscure that regulations didn't cover it. It hadn't been worth writing down. So it could be grown and sold freely while everything else was rationed. An O-chan no Mizu University professor put it on national television. This is the vegetable that fed post-war Japan. It took off through the early 60s, alongside the westernization of the diet. And in 1964, the government began listing it in national agricultural statistics under its own name, distinct from chili peppers. Japan's most hated vegetable got in because nobody had heard of it, and it landed at the worst possible moment. The School Lunch Act had passed in 1954. Today, it feeds over 10 million students a day. Japanese children don't eat in a cafeteria. They eat at their own desks, rearranged into tables, and they serve each other, taking turns on lunch duty in white aprons. The teacher eats the same meal. Packed lunches from home generally aren't permitted, except for medical reasons. And it isn't really about lunch. It's Shokuiku, food education. The Education Ministry describes school lunch as a living teaching material. The tray is a lesson, and the ministry says so out loud. So a bitter, unfamiliar vegetable entered the national diet at the exact moment a national system existed to put it in front of every child in the country on the same day, with no alternative and gentle pressure to finish it. And it wasn't the pepper you'd buy today. The varieties of that era were large, thick-fleshed, and strongly scented, enough that breeders eventually developed milder ones because so many people were avoiding them. American children ate different lunches in different schools and never agreed on a villain. Japanese children ate the same lunch, and back then, it was worse. Delicious Party Precure aired episode 26 in 2022, 30 years after Shin-chan, and it's a whole episode about Kokone trying to overcome her hatred of green peppers. Her friends cook pepper dishes for her. They take a trip to a pepper field. A reviewer at Anime News Network called it green pepper propaganda, but there's a detail in it worth reflecting on. In the fantasy sequences, Kokone appears as a child, younger than she really is. As that reviewer put it, as if she knows that disliking bell peppers is something she's meant to grow out of. It's happened twice, in opposite directions. Pixar rebuilt 3 scenes so a joke would land in Japan. And when Doki Doki Precure ran an episode about 2 characters who hate carrots, the English dub simply removed it. One studio reanimated a film to import a feeling. The other deleted an episode because it couldn't. Broccoli is a vegetable American children dislike. Piiman is the Japanese vegetable used to show you haven't grown up yet. Next time, an object Japan spent 400 years taking away from people and then saved by deciding it was never a weapon at all.